Hello again. I'm here today with part 3 of my May book haul, and this will be my YA middle grade books. These are the YA books that I picked up in May. First one I'm going to be talking about here is The Disappearance of Sloan Sullivan. This sounded really interesting, basically a mystery type of story. Let's see. No one wants me to tell you about the disappearance of Sloan Sullivan. Not the lawyers or the cops, not her friends or family, not even the boy who loved her more than anything, and most certainly not the United States Marshal Services. You know the people who run the Witness Protection Program, or as it's officially called, the Witness Security Program. Yeah, the WITSEC folks definitely don't want me talking to you. But I don't care. I have to tell someone. If I don't, you'll never know how completely wrong things can go. How a single decision can change everything. How when it really comes down to it, you can't trust anyone, not even yourself. You have to understand so it won't happen to you next. Because you never know when the person sitting next to you isn't who they claim to be. And because there are worse things than disappearing. So this sounds really interesting. I'm definitely looking forward to it. The Disappearance of Sloan Sullivan. Next book is all over BookTube, which is Lifelike by Jay Kristoff. I obviously love the Illuminate series, and he is definitely a part of that. I haven't read anything else by Jay Kristoff, but I am interested in picking up this book and seeing what it's about here. It says, it's another day in the scrap, a quick brawl at the War Dome, dodge a murder gang, stumble upon the deadliest robot ever built. 17-year-old Eve isn't looking for secrets. She's already too busy looking over her shoulder. The robot gladiator she spent months building is a smoking wreck, and the only thing keeping her grandpa alive was a handful of credits she just lost to the bookies. Worst of all, she discovered she can destroy machines with nothing more than her mind, and a bunch of puritanical fanatics are building a coffin her size. If she's ever had a worse day, Eve can't remember it. But when Eve discovers the ruins of a beautiful android boy named Ezekiel buried in the scrap pile she calls home, her entire world is turned upside down. With her best friend and her robotic sidekick in tow, she and Ezekiel will trek across deserts of irradiated glass, battle cyborg assassins, and scour abandoned megacities to save the one Eve loves and learn the dark secrets of her past, even if those secrets were better off staying buried. So I am looking forward to this. Sounds really good. That is Lifelike. Next one is a very anticipated sequel for me. If you watch my channel early on, I talked about Caraval. I love that book, and this is the sequel, Legendary. I am looking forward to reading this. I'm not going to read a synopsis because I don't want to spoil Caraval. Great book. I am looking forward to the continuation of this series, and I can't wait to read it. That is Legendary by Stephanie Garber. Next book, I heard is a middle grade, but actually in the bookstore I bought it in, it was in the YA section. So I'm not sure, but I'm going to classify this as middle grade, and that is ThornHill. This is pretty much a very graphic story. I mean, it's a story, but there's a lot of pictures in this story, as you can see here. So it's very picture-centric, and I've heard a lot of good things about this book, which is why I wanted to finally pick it up. And it has a really nice cover. It actually is one of those no dust jacket covers. It reads here for the description: a lonely girl in a new town, a ghostly figure in the window, a derelict old house, and a mystery spanning the decades. An orphan faces a bully alone and plots her revenge. Years later, a girl catches glimpses of a figure in the window of a burned out and abandoned old house and begins to unravel the mystery of ThornHill. So, again, I am really looking forward to it. I've heard nothing but great things about this book, and I can't wait to dive into it. That is ThornHill. Next book I actually saw on one of the booktubers that I shouted out recently. This sounded really interesting, so when I saw it in the bookstore, I had to pick it up, and that was Spellbook of the Lost and Found. From what I understand, this story is about these women who do this spell to find missing things, and then there's consequences to the spell, and other things go missing in the town to compensate for the things they're looking for and find. It sounds really good. I know a lot of people have talked about The Accident Season, which is another book that this author has written, and they really like that. If I like Spellbook of the Lost and Found, I may pick up that Accident Season as well. I'm definitely looking forward to this book. That is Spellbook of the Lost and Found. When I look through the monthly new releases for YA, which I do before I plan out what I'm going to be buying as far as new releases for YA, I saw this title and I knew even before I read what the synopsis was going to be that I was going to buy it, just based on the title alone. What I picked up was Undead Girl Gang, witches, zombies. I'm gonna buy it. YA, witches, zombies, nice tongue-in-cheek it sounds like. It's gonna be for me. I'm gonna read a little bit of the synopsis here. Meet teenage Wiccan Mila Flores, who truly could not care less what you think about her. Doc Martens, her attitude or her weight, because she knows that no matter what, her BFF Riley is right by her side. So when Riley and Fairmont Academy mean girls, June, Flenn Pack, and Dayton Nesseth die under suspicious circumstances, Mila refuses to believe everyone's explanation that her best friend was involved in a suicide pact. Instead, armed with a tube of lip gloss and an ancient grimoire, Mila does the unthinkable to uncover the truth. She brings the girls back to life. Unfortunately, Riley, June, and Dayton have no recollection of the murders, but they do have unfinished business to attend to. Now, with only 7 days until the spell wears off and the girls return to their graves, Mila must wrangle the distracted group of undead teens and work fast to discover their murderer before the killer strikes again. Sounds great. Can't wait to read it. That is Undead Girl Gang. And this book, my wife picked up for me at work. They were getting rid of a lot of old books that they had. She thought it would be something I was interested in. So it is Son of a Witch, the second in the Wicked series of books. I never read Wicked. I don't own Wicked. So in order for me to read this one, I'm going to have to read Wicked. But I was glad that she picked it up. It is a nice copy. It's very cool end pages here with maps and stuff. And obviously, I can't... Ooh, I didn't even realize this. And it has a nice interior picture as well here. So, I was glad she got it for me, but now it's just something else I have to buy before I can read this. But that is Son of a Witch. This one I also heard about on BookTube, and that is The Price Guide to the Occult. Again, the title just automatically sounds like something I would buy. And it has this nice kind of almost leather cover. It's hard to explain, but it really is a very interesting tactile feel to this book. And it has those nice red edges here. Let me read what it's about. All Noor Blackburn wants is to live an unremarkable teenage life on the sweet little touristy island she calls home. But then a mysterious book comes out. The island's flora and fauna raise their hackles, and strangers and acquaintances alike begin sprouting ominous fern tattoos. A storm is coming. It's coming for Noor. So I'm definitely looking forward to this. That is The Price Guide to the Occult. Next two books are continuations of series that I started reading. This is the third book in the Legend series by Marie Lu, Champion. I have read the second book. I'll cover it in my wrap-up. I have enjoyed it. I can't wait to actually finish this series, and that is Champion. And this is also the third book in a series. This is the third book in the Lunar Chronicles series, Cress. I also finished Scarlet, which I'll talk about in my wrap-up, but I am looking forward to continuing the series with Cress. And the last book I picked up was The Accidental Bad Girl. Kendall used to be a good girl. That was before the entire senior class discovered her hooking up with her best friend's ex, and before she became an instant pariah and vowed to keep her head down until she escaped a small Brooklyn private school for good. But no such luck. She discovered her online identity has been hacked, and she's been framed for stealing a drug dealer's stash. If she wants to repair her tattered reputation and save her neck, she has to pretend to be the bad girl everyone thinks she is. And the longer she plays the role of bad girl, the more it seems to fit. Friends and enemies, detectives and drug dealers, no one is who they appear to be, least of all Kendall. So it sounds really interesting. I like the premise. I like the synopsis. So I'm looking forward to this. This is The Accidental Bad Girl. And those are all my books for the May book haul in my YA and middle grade category. This was part 3. So I still have part 4 to do. Until that time, thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.